typical gray fall New York.
Yeah,
I know.
I love the fall, my favorite season, but it is gray out there.
That's the
Yeah.
one thing about New York that used to depress me so much is there was that period in the winter where you would get like weeks of gray. I mean, no
Yeah.
sun at all. And it was
Right.
just like, oh, another day of this shit. And
Yeah.
I am so sun and light dependent. When the days get shorter and darker, gloomier, I get depressed. I mean, I am physically affected by that.
Oh,
The
me
worst
too.
is when you go on vacation, right? And like, Zach, because you live in Jersey. Like, you get your plane's coming down, you're getting on the parkway, you're coming back from like Turks and Caicos or Spain, and all of a sudden you're driving past the swamp,
Just
or
ready to
like
gloom.
New York
Yeah.
City, like you're in JFK and you're driving through. You're like, what am I doing back here?
Well, it's dude, no, because then you're always, no matter what time, you end up being stuck in traffic. So like
Yeah.
you fly from wherever you were, some beautiful location, and where you're de-stressed, right back into gloom and traffic and horn honking and people giving you the finger, and it's like,
Oh man.
Yeah,
God.
you know what? It's getting worse here. If you go on X, which we are on now, but if you go on X, the videos are absolutely insane. If you go to like crazy clips or whatever, people are getting shot in the face on the videos, like
What?
for road rage, and people getting like it is all a free for all, but yet we'll get taken down on
Yeah,
Instagram
right.
For
like,
John Cena's body.
for saying poop, for saying poop. This guy gets shot in the face.
You should have said shit. Yeah. Man. So out of the gate,
Isn't it interesting?
go ahead, dude. I'm sorry.
No,
Well, I'm just saying, I wanted to ask you guys this because I thought I ran into this morning, and I have it up on the screen where it was this I don't know where they are at this university. I've never heard of it. I think it's overseas, Flinders University. So they took 200 popular TikTok videos with popular hashtags like Fit Talk and fitness. Fit Talk. I actually just hate myself a little bit when I say that. Ugh, Fit Talk. But so what they did was it was 200 videos, and they analyzed them, and they found that 60% of them share bad advice. Nearly 80% featured women. Yeah. I mean, but like,
surprised
how
the
bad?
number's so low.
But like, it kind of, I started thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, we've talked about this for a while, how annoying it is, and how basically it's a huge grift, and everybody's out there to snag money from you or sell you something or whatever. Right. And I just don't see how you combat this, right? Because if somebody's handsome or pretty or whatever, and they have a good body, they can get up there and just look at newscasters. Newscasters are essentially just reading a prompter. They're not like always tapped into the news. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I was like, how do you do this? And if it's gonna, it's probably just gonna get worse. But I don't know.
Well, what do you think? Like, not to get crazy or anything, but isn't it the same thing as like over the years, over the decades of the government giving us false news?
Yeah, probably.
How is it any different? How is it any different? Stay away from 9/11. Stay away from the tower. Oh, the air is fine there. The air is fine. You can go back to work. Everybody's getting cancer.
Right. Yeah.
But there's no
cigarettes don't cause cancer. Tobacco doesn't cause. Fine. That's no big deal.
The thing is, when we grew up, okay, the TV was the truth. Okay, you turned on the news. The newscasters read the news. It wasn't slanted. It wasn't, intended to have another meaning. It was what was going on, and we grew accustomed to the fact that when Walter Cronkite said something, it was true, and there was never even a doubt about it. Now it's not that many years later, just a couple generations, and you can now not believe anything that comes out of the TV or the internet or any other device that you have. It's 99% bullshit. And all up to us now. You got to weed through this crap to try to find the truth. And you even have to differentiate between truth and facts. Facts are indisputable. Truth is malleable. Okay, my truth is not necessarily the same as your truth, but facts are facts.
Right.
They don't care about your feelings. But we have no external device that is going to inform us where we can be confident that the information we're getting is accurate or true or factual.
Agreed. I guess, look, I think you're right, Frank. It's definitely like extends beyond just fitness. And I guess this caught my attention because this is just something that we talk about, and then it's an area that we're, kind of tapped into. But I see what you mean. It's like, but when you say that, John, like people have to, I think everybody's got to be critical, or, be critical for sure. But how do you, with the flood of this, right? Because people are going to say, holy shit, I can make $500 in doing nothing, basically just with my phone, doing a couple videos, saying whatever, or selling. I remember that one chick, Brittany Dawn, a while ago, was selling custom programs. She was out of Texas, I believe, or something, but it was cut and paste. It was not real. She wasn't even, licensed or anything. And it's like, dude, I just was, I don't know. I'm like, she made a ton of money. She got busted, but that probably happens far more often than gets reported. Like that's just one of a million things.
The TikTok shop is based on affiliates now. So I'm going into the TikTok shop. So if you're an influencer, or if you have a certain amount of followers and you decide to sell one of the products in the TikTok store and promote it, you get a percentage. So all of these kids sitting around, they're like, I'm an affiliate for seven different products, and today I made $83. Okay, so what's the minimum wage? Why would I have to get up, take a shower, brush my teeth, comb my hair, and go out to work and listen to somebody when I'm going to make the same amount of money sitting home in my bed on my phone than that? And that is the problem. And do they believe in the product? I don't know. But a lot of these facts are just, a lot of these surveys and stuff are just complete bullshit. Like, I heard a guy the other day, he's like, 70% of people who train their clients cheat with their client. They cheat on their client. They have sexual affairs with their client now. And you have to read the comments with gold. They're like, 70% of what comes out of this guy's mouth is crap. 75%. Where is he getting this information from?
Where did that come from?
What did you do? Go do a worldwide survey of every trainer? Like, how do you quantify that? Because let's say there's 50 trainers at Bev Francis right now. Mm-hmm. All right, so is that a small focus group? Is that indicative of, California, Hawaii, and 181,000 ISSA trainers? And who's being truthful and who's not? Like, I mean, come on.
And who's admitting that, by the way? But who's going to be like, you know what? It's me. Sorry, honey. It was me. My bad. I had a free pass.
Well, that means you'd have to bang, John, 7 out of 10 of your clients.
True. And I know some trainers who do that, but it's a high ratio. The problem is in television, it's obviously powerless now, but in the beginning, we had the FCC, and the FCC regulated what could be, broadcast on TV. The internet has no oversight. It has no transparency and no oversight, and anybody, including animals, can get on and have pages and get followers, and it's completely unregulated. So you can go in there and decide, I'm going to teach people how to make nitroglycerin bombs and blow up high schools, and no one's going to stop you. So.
I hope not. There's a cat who wears a tuxedo, a cat in a tuxedo, he dances around. He gets more likes than 10 essentials to mass building articles on Muslim Fitness. And I'm like, where's that crazy cat? What's he wearing today?
Dude, no
the
kidding.
World's different, man. It's not the same anymore.
It really is. Good grief. Yeah, grumpy. It's like all you need is grumpy cat or like keyboard cat, and like if they say anything, they could be playing the keyboard and being like, go ahead, eat all the fries you want. People be like, you know what? It came from a keyboard cat, so it's got to be accurate because he would never lie. Never
Yeah.
lie to us.
I am getting sick and tired of these trainers who have to, or wannabe trainers or coaches who have to comment on every workout video that you do and try to get known or try to get noticed by saying, well, why aren't you going all the way down? And when in the caption you write bench squats. When having an injury, bench squats are good to take stress off of stabilizing muscle. Like the whole explanation through AI in 10 steps is right there for you to read. But some of the, well, if you move your feet back and put the bench further back, you don't have to use as heavy. Who asked you? Like, I just block everybody now. I can't even, because I don't have the time to answer them back and get into a debate. So I just block them.
Well, honestly, that's what they want. They're punching up, because what you've done is already built a loyal following. I mean, you've also been around for enough to where you've met so many people and you've proven what you can do and what you know, that they're desperately trying to find any path forward, again, to get in on the grift. Maybe they really do want to go help people. I don't know. But their thing is, like you said, well, you know what? If I could get a few sponsors or get my videos sponsored, then I won't have to go do this many sessions at the gym, or I won't have to go find more clients. And it's just at the detriment of everybody else. And it's super annoying. Like you said, you can't even have fun.
Annoying.
Like, again, Frank and I were like, when we did the shoot with the lead singer from 311, Frank and I were, dive bombing the freaking foam rollers. It's a joke. And I bet you there were some people out there like, that's not how you foam roll.
That's not how you dive.
Yeah, I know.
Watch Greg Louganis. It's more of a 90-degree. These guys don't know what they're doing. They're not divers.
Yeah. Wow. And it's like, sorry, we're trying. And that's the thing. I will tell you this. Now that the magazine is out the door, I've been going back through and I'm finding a lot of the images that we didn't necessarily use for the magazine, but I thought were interesting. And a lot of them have to do, especially with those two shoots, whether it's Chris Daughtry and Nick Hexum and some other things, a lot of what I see is Frank and I laughing in a lot of them, smiling in a lot. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put them together. I'm gonna make sure that you have access to them too. But it was really cool that like we're finding a way to have fun and still get the job done. And I'm like, man, isn't that what the key should be?
A lot of these trainers, they're so serious. Go ahead, John. They're just so serious.
One of the things that drives me insane is that you get a virtual nobody who throws up a podcast, and then what they do to try to get famous is they start attacking famous people.
Yep.
So,
right.
Frankie, you'll be up there and somebody, Frank Seppi's a douchebag. He's, he's got fake teeth or something. And he's looking for you to come back at him so that he can say, oh, I got Frank Seppi responding to my posts. So they go out, and that's happened to me 50 times. They go and attack you, and they're waiting for you to come back, with your response. And the worst thing you can do for them is ignore them, because
you block them, John. That's what you do. You block them and you get rid of them.
Too much effort.
Look, Zach and I were doing a photo shoot in the middle of Bev Francis' gym. We had umbrellas was set up. It had to be about 8 people. Now, we wanted to use one piece of equipment, and the model was on the equipment, and there happened to be a piece of equipment next to it that a trainer and his client, there was 500 pieces of leg equipment open, decided that he would come over there and train her right there. And it wasn't 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It was about 20 minutes.
No, they move in.
Yeah.
So they're like, so Steve came out and Steve's like, why didn't you say anything? He's like, I was like, because that's what he wanted me to do. Frank Seppi threw me out of the photo shoot. They're a bully, blah, blah, blah. And Steve's like, I would have threw him out. I was like, yeah. So the other day I'm training with, Juan Morel. And this guy comes over and he goes, same guy, and he goes, if you move the machine up, I go like this, looked at him just like this, not interested. And the deflation of that guy was like, because that's what an idiot. You know, he's just an idiot. It's just like that. That's what those people have to be noticed. They have to talk. Yeah. Like, you know, if he would have came up to me and say, "Hey guys, you know, like, can I ask? Can I offer some advice?" He's just like, you one of those. It's enough. I can't deal with them anymore. Not interested.
Not interested.
Right? Great response.
Not interested.
So Corky has a question. Did you guys listen to Ronnie Coleman on Shannon Sharpe podcast? I did not.
I did.
Did you?
That sounds like something tailor-made for Frankie.
What's the takeaway there?
Yeah.
Great show, because Shannon Sharpe loves bodybuilding. Shannon told him that he looked his best in 2003. In 2005, he was the heaviest, like 285, but shredded. But Shannon said he looked best at 203. Like a skin chick. He's basically a skin. And Ronnie was saying how he could see his brain. That's how thin he is through his skin and this and that. But they were just talking about like bodybuilding, training heavy. It actually I like Joe Rogan's podcast. It's interesting. I mean,
that was
Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe. Yeah, Shannon Sharpe. Joe Rogan had Ronnie on as well.
Yep.
I remember that.
Joe asked him, "Do you ever get a second opinion on your back?" And Ronnie said, "No, he's been using the same surgeon for the whole time." But Shannon Sharpe is interesting, man. He's 56 years old, and he was on all these shows and this and that, and he hit his popularity in his mid-50s now because of Club Shay Shay and that show with Ocho Cinco, the podcast. They're both great. Yeah. I mean, interesting stuff.
Yeah, he did that show with Skip Bayless for a while, too. Yeah, that's right, Nightcap. He did that show for a while, and I think it was really, at the time, like, I didn't know him as much of a broadcaster. Obviously, I knew him as a player, and I knew him from fitness because he was pitched to us a lot. But that was when I was, watching him go back and forth, with those two go back and forth was educational for me, because I'm like, God, it pays to be prepared, because if not, if you're going into a debate platform like that and you don't have your shit together, you're just going to get steamrolled and you lose all your credibility.
But it goes to show you that when you have those handcuffs on you and you can't say what you want and they put you in a box, even though you have the media outlet, it still doesn't work, because Shannon started saying what was on his mind on another, platform where he's talking about dating and sex and this and that. And now he's a household name, where he was a Hall of Fame, tight end and all these shows, and look at it, like, it just goes to show you. But I was on, for 2 years, I was on Cold Pizza on ESPN, and Skip Bayless was there with Stephen A. Smith, and I did not like Skip Bayless.
No?
Nope.
Just like just his attitude, like a prick?
Just knowing you just see some people and the way they carry themselves and the way they look at you and everything else is just like, there was nothing friendly about him.
You see, like I'm not shocked, because I mean, you hear that a lot, but it sucks. It sucks when you're stuck with that too. When you also, as being a professional, you have to kind of eat that shit burger, right? And pretend like you like it. So it's you have to be stuck with these people in a sense and be around them. Look, that's happened in so many different areas that I've been with, where it's like a cultural issue for me, and it gets to the point where it's like, do you stick with it or do you bounce? I don't know.
Well, there was a producer there, or I don't know what his job title was, but he was a little fat guy, and one of the girls on the show was like, "Wow, look at this guy's physique." I was doing the fitness segments. And he looked at me, he was probably about 5'4", 200 pounds, 5'5", and he goes, "Oh, too bad he'll be dead in 10 years. Saying, I'm going to die in 10 years. But this, this guy who's 5'4", like shorty 240, is like, and you can't, what was I going to say back to him? He was one of the people that worked there. But that's what people think, and that's how insecure they are.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, all right, we got Terminator juice. I'll throw it out here, but I think I know the answer. Hey, John, I know you got good juice knowledge. So how do I know my underground stuff is good, like test sip? What's a good sign or color, taste, pip? Didn't you say, like, to get the test that Dave Palumbo sells, and, like, that's the easiest way to do it?
Test. Yep. It's Bill Llewellyn makes molecular nutrition. It's Dave Palumbo sells them on his site, but it's Royd test.
Okay, yeah, he said he's. I think he said it's on the way. So I'm guessing he already.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way to tell. You can't tell by looking at it. I mean, I can look at a bottle and tell you if it was made in a lab or in somebody's bathroom, but I can't tell you by looking at the fluid what it is. So you need to test it.
Yeah, I mean,
well, they have the cocaine test, right? In all the movies, they go like this.
Yeah.
That's pure 100.
Is your tongue going numb?
I'm like, man, I'm like, wow, that's what a palate, you know? Like they could always tell immediately. They're like, it's a little off. Like
a little off. My tongue's only numb on the bottom. Yeah, that's good.
That's cut with baby something. What does that call it?
Or like I remember Better Off Dead. Oh man, this is a deep cut, but Better Off Dead with John Cusack, where Booger was in it from Revenge of the Nerds, and he's up on the mountain. He's like, it's pure snow. It's because it's just snow. You know, like, I can't feel my face.
Hot Dog the movie was on the other day with Shannon Tweed and the fake guy with the fake German accent. You know, he had sex with the guy's girlfriend. He goes, I had sunny side up, sunny side down, sunny side all around. And you're like, this guy's from like Brooklyn. He's got the worst. How did you go to acting school? And you're like, I got the role, Dad. I'm the German ski instructor. It's like horrible.
Oh man,
I love those movies.
Scatman says he saw in the news that gangs are selling fake Ozempic that's killing people. Is this going to be the new fentanyl? I mean,
yep.
I think it's
that's what they do. That is what they do. They wait for the popularity to pop up. So whatever it is, fentanyl, ecstasy, erectile dysfunction drugs, they just wait until there's a popularity of it, and then they start faking them. That's what they do. You know,
Blue Magic.
Yep.
That's why Terminator Juice has that test coming. You gotta have the your Ozempic test.
Well, the number of unscrupulous people that descend upon and become part of the drug culture is staggering. I mean, it's probably 90%. So, you know, you're selling bottles of juice. What's in there? You know, it could be legit. It could be nothing. You have no way of knowing. No way of knowing. So other than with a Royd test, or, you know, if you know stuff about the source, there's great websites that, you know, rate the drugs that are out there, the popular ones anyway. But you're pretty much, if you're not working on the black market, you're pretty much on your own. You have no resources at all.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was Russian roulette. You're basically taking like 5 or 6 things in hopes that 2 or 3 are real.
Well,
back in the 90s.
That's true. But back in the day, we were getting real legit European drugs. And then people were faking those. So it became a process of, can you spot the fake? Because it's a counterfeit. So there's tons of ways to tell where something was made, how it was made, if the lot number was printed on or was it added later. I mean, the crimp around the bottle, tons of ways. I could list 50 ways to tell if your drugs were legit or not. But no one can tell you what's in the substance. So
Sesame
you know,
oil.
back then it was just a matter of, is this parabolin real or is it fake? And you could tell. But now it's like all these labs are underground. They're all getting their raws from China, and it's up to, are they going to put the powder in or are they not? You know, so you don't know.
I gotta say, like, I feel like if you're not going to, you know, be vigorously testing, then you got to just go to the doctor. Like, I mean, that you might as well just play it safe and pay. Yeah, maybe you'll pay more money, but God, I mean, is it worth it to give up your life for saving a few bucks? I just don't see it, man.
No, you $40. Well, you'll save $40 on a vial, and then like you'll go out and buy a atomic sneakers and a weightlifting belt, and a sweatshirt, like, you know, for $400. But you, God forbid, you know, you go to an actual get a prescription, go to the doctor, and get labs tested. You know, like what's
It's too much work.
like? Yeah, man, I'm getting my knee surgery next week. Are you? Where are you going? Oh, this place by the mall in Long Island.
Yeah.
I go, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, they got a couple bats there. They're gonna, it's really, they're gonna, you got a gnaw on
You get
one.
a falafel. You get 2
Yeah.
falafels and knee surgery. I'm like, you see that building? That's called Manhattan. That's the city. You can
Exactly.
go there.
You can find somebody qualified, I'm sure, if you just look slightly. This is for John. This is from Terminator Juice again. He says, John, as a former steroid user, what do you miss the most? Feeling huge, strong, or are you most happy now? Okay, this is a weird differentiate, like, because you're on testosterone, right? So even though that's like, I feel like what people in like the colloquial mean as steroids, you've talked about in the past that it's more like the DECA and the trend and all those types of things that are probably more what's the word? Potent? Is that it? Like, what am I trying to say here?
Well, effective. I don't know.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
So you got to be able to. First of all, there's hormone replacement therapy, which is what I'm doing, and then there's steroid use, which is what young, strapping, competitive bodybuilders should be using, not the little zit-covered gym rats who don't have a hope in hell of growing anything. So, other than carrots in the garden, but you have to be able to differentiate the two. And if you're taking steroids, yeah, you're stacking on top of test or something else, maybe 2-3 different drugs and different in quantities and doses that are way more than therapeutic. So, that's the difference. Yeah, do I feel different? Yeah, I'm 55 pounds lighter than I was when I was taking juice. And I feel great that I'm just on growth hormone and testosterone. And, sometimes I throw in a little EQ for the summer. But, it's pretty much really low compared to, what I used to take. And I feel really good. I'm fortunate. I'm 64 years old. Nothing hurts. I have no pain. I have no limitations. I take no medications other than, the whatsoever related to my TRT. And I'm really fortunate, knock on wood. I mean, I know guys 10 years younger than me that are on 5 different drugs. They're, I just had a friend of mine who's 10 years younger than me. He had just had stents put in. He had 80% blockage in the widowmaker artery. So, a lot of it's genetics. It's what it's what you're born with, what you got to work with. The other is how you manage your life, your lifestyle, how your diet is, if you drink enough water, if you're getting enough sleep, if you're getting enough exercise, cardio, etc. And, monitoring, your health markers, getting blood work done, getting, doing all the right stuff. If you're doing all that, I mean, there's no reason not to feel good, I don't think, unless you have a genetic, deficiency that's going to cause you trouble. But
yeah, but I also think there's that mental portion maybe that he's talking about too, is that, when he's saying, how do you feel good? Also that you talked about how difficult it was to like transform basically from a big bodybuilder into a more streamlined and fit and, person. Doesn't mean you're not strong, but you're not carrying that 55 pounds. And Frank's talked about it. Look, Frank was walking around at 300 plus, 240 240, 230 is where he's kind of naturally. That's still a lot of weight, man. Like that's a ton of weight.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
It's not quite a ton, but it's a lot of weight.
Yeah. It depends where you go. Look, if you were an ex-bodybuilder who's on the juice and now all of a sudden you're going to like a trade show or a bodybuilding show and there's people in the audience and bodybuilders, you start looking around, you start feeling small. But then again, if you walked into a Dunkin' Donuts or a mall or something, everybody would think you were the biggest thing. They're like, wow, look at that guy, or so whatever. I was at the airport after the Olympia and I was going to get my luggage, and this woman who was behind the counter and this other guy, I was walking over because I forgot my bag and I went to go get, and she's like, I put things down, I picked them up, talking to me, and I'm like, I didn't know I fit that bill of the bodybuilder, like of that type of person. I didn't even speak to her. I was just walking from
God.
one place to the other, but it's just how people see you in
Yeah.
different places.
Oh, it's so
Like, I'm sure
annoying.
no one's, when we're backstage at, an open bodybuilding show, we all look like kickstands. Everyone's like,
exactly. Exactly. Like, but I guess that's so interesting to me too, that they would say that to you. But it's just like you guys talked about before, right? Like the strong person or the fit person takes off their shirt, and immediately everyone's like, "Oh,
yeah.
there they go!
Yeah.
Oh, there they go! Look at that!
Guns out, guns out."
Yeah, and it's like you can't sweat. Like you can't sweat like a normal person, and like but here's the thing. My whole thought is this: even if you did just want to show off your hard work, so what? What's the problem? Like, why does that?
It's the double standard, because I've said this before. You get the 300-pound fat slob, and you put him in a Coors Light tank top, and no one says boo. You take any one of us, throw us in a tank top, and it's like, oh, sun's like Frankie, sun's out, guns out. You got a commentary all of a sudden because you're wearing a tank. No one says boo to the fucking fat guy in the tank top. But if you're in shape and fit and look good and wear a tank top, you're gonna get shit. It's unbelievable.
You want to test that theory? Go to a Jet game, right? And you wear shorts and a tank top, right? And a hat, baseball. And then some guy who's 300 pounds wear the same outfit. And see how many drunk people start making fun of you and not the what do you call it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because, and you have to be conscious. When I had my son, and he was like 3, 4, 5 years old, and I was taking him to the Jet games and stuff. And it was hot out in early in like September, October. I would wear a long sleeve shirt or 3/4 just because I didn't want to get into, because there's always one person, like get into an altercation because I have my son, So it was just like, it's so weird because what happens is this: they say something, you say something back. Then if they don't end it there and they say something again and you start walking towards them, they're A, going to call the cops, or B, they're so drunk they're going to throw a haymaker at you and you're going to step back, move, and blast them right in the jaw. And then when the guy's on the floor with no teeth, you're going to get arrested.
Right.
So.
I don't get that. It says Jets, Frank is a walking meme. I don't understand what that means. That's his team. Like, what does that mean?
I love the Jets.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know, but
we get it in the
walking meme.
But also, like, Frank, it's kind of almost probably exhausting too. I'm sure when you were younger and probably like a little bit more quick tempered, even though I've seen that temper come out, like you might have been more like willing. But now is it kind of like, oh, who has the energy for this? Like, for whatever, man. Like, just leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're, if you look back now and you're 280, 300, and you're in striped baggy pants or or American flags on them and a fanny pack and a boat neck shirt with your traps hanging out, look, man, you deserve to. I can't say, like, people are going to say things about you just the way it is, like you step back and take a look and you're like, oof. Wow, but if you're just a guy wearing the same t-shirt or whatever, I mean, as everybody else, it doesn't happen as often now because people, pretty much like John said, everybody's like, now tapping into something. So they're all like feeling themselves, even though they have no veins or whatever. Just like one big sloppy.
Sloppy's a great word.
Yeah.
You're sloppy. That's what you say. That's what you used to say in Long Island when you were getting ready for a show, and they're like, "What do you look like?" And they look at you and you're like, "Sloppy, sloppy." Do another 2 hours of cardio.
Sloppy. That's a good word. That's definitely an East Coast term.
Yes. What temper?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. See that? You see, even him asking that, I saw the steam coming out of his ears. So, did you book your flights for this Mr. Olympia? Frank's hitchhiking. He's actually going to take a new route. He's going to hitchhike there. So if anybody is going to be on their way,
I have my flight, and I have my flight and my hotel.
Me too. Red eye, baby. Taking the red eye out on Saturday.
Are you? Oh, my flight leaves at noon.
Yeah, I can't do that. Childcare stuff, dude. I can't.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
I can't lose that whole day. Like, I thought about it, and it would have been. So my mother-in-law is coming to watch her kids because my wife is going to be there. Doing photographs like she normally does. Frank and her last year got to waste an entire hour plus at Batista's booth. So yeah, we're doing that. And her mom has to leave. Her flight's at like 2. So there was really like no way for us to get there because of the time difference. So we're just going to do our thing and then bounce. And then that's that.
Are you leaving Wednesday at midnight or are you leaving? When are you leaving?
No, I mean Saturday. Like I'm leaving. I'm arriving Thursday, leaving Saturday night.
Oh, you're coming back home on Saturday. Saturday
that's
night.
The red eye. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I get in Thursday afternoon.
When you're flying west to east, I think the red eye is the best deal going, man, because you don't lose a day. Mm-hmm. You just, even if you don't sleep the whole time, at least it's when you get there, it's the morning. You haven't lost the whole, entire day.
And I could power through. It's not fun. Like I don't love being, coming off a red eye and then going through everything. But I'd rather have the entire day to do stuff and to get myself organized and to recover than get home late. Who knows if there's going to be delays. So it's a
I don't know. I'll let you know.
This time of year, you get hurricanes, tropical storms, terror. You have all kinds of shit.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know, Zach.
Oh man, yeah. It's I did talk to the guy that's coming to help us with the live stream. He's going to help. We're going to go over some things, but he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I haven't run a live stream in a while. I'm like, you really won't have to do a lot besides I'm going to show you how to do it and do the cam. But he'll be good. Yeah, I'm like, plus, like,
I've been
we're not going to have
landscaping for the last decade. I've been doing landscaping, but I'll give this live thing a whirl. They give me a call.
He does he's been working. He worked at G Fuel for like a long time and did a lot of their stuff, but not their live streams. So here we go. He's like, do you have the camera with the crank on it? Like that's what I'm used to using. But it'll be good. He knows how to use the Rogue, so he'll be good. We're gonna go through the program. It's just that a lot of people haven't used either Ecamm or Restream, but they're aware of it. It's going to be fine, and it's not going to be difficult.
People ask me, like, and they get pissed off. They're like, well, when's the Olympia after, the photo shoot? And I said, Olympia photo shoot I go, where are we using these photos? We're doing marketing photos during the show. After the show, they come on, they shoot, and but where are we putting these, 55 photo shoots and photos?
Nowhere.
Where would we put them?
Good question.
Nowhere. I mean, you can put them all. Here's the thing, right? There has to be a reason for it. So,
right. That's what I'm saying.
Because exactly. And it's a lot of money and it's a lot of effort and a lot of work for a lot of people. And that's fantastic. But you said it, dude. Like, if we just pop up a bunch of photos of people working out, why would they not go to the person's social media pages where they're going to explain what they're doing rather than just have a random photo or series of photos? And that's ultimately what it was coming down to. So,
but I think some of it could be utilized as utility. We're always searching for artwork. So if we started a little file of potentially useful photos and videos, we may or may not still have such a terrible artwork problem when things come up that need artwork.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, look, it's a possibility. There has to be a more of a strategy around it, right? So, and what we've run into in the past, look at what we're running into even with this. Like, we have all this footage or all this media, and sometimes our wires get crossed. I'll send things to Frank. I don't know if, I'll forget to follow up and see if they were any good or if he needed it. And then later on, he'll be like, hey, did you ever send me that? So it happens all the time and it's nobody's fault. So there's times where, when my wife was digging around for photos for the magazine. She was like, by the way, no one told me about this like batch of photos from like 2022 or 2021.
Right.
It's like, I would have pulled them for you, but I didn't even know that they were here. I'm like, ugh.
Specific photo shoots, unless if you're doing a magazine and you haven't, well, let's just say we're doing a real magazine and you have an editorial chart, you know, basically you're like, oh, we're shooting Derek Lunsford back. You would actually shoot for that specific reason.
Right.
We have marketing photos that are being shot during the show's white backdrops, everything, and anything that we pretty much use for our our stage shots. Stage shots are the most crucial things, and then we have photographers backstage, so we got all pump up shots. So we have backstage, we got pump up shots, and we got marketing shots. To do 55 athlete photo shoots at X amount of dollars, when maybe 50 of those athletes aren't ever going to be used, it would have to be streamlined. But if you told me, let's shoot every single Mr. Olympia, whoever wins the Olympia title or the top two, whatever, I mean, that, sure, but there has to be some, you know, reason. Like, I know, you know, for years, JM has been doing the shoots, but JM puts them on NPC News Online. He puts up the galleries, he puts up the videos, he puts them on YouTube, you know, he enjoys doing it. So there's a specific reason. So I don't know why we would, unless we were doing Flex magazine, and, you know, then we would need those photos to the 10th, you know, like we need every single photo we can get.
But you're right. When we would have the magazine, or at least even have staffs for all of the brands, that would be something that we would plan out over 6 to 8 months, you know, and it would be not just in print, but we would also find ways to use them in our other content. So if we had, you know, 15 shoots and we had 15 people doing specific things, maybe we would get tips from each one about whatever, because we want to do a roundup, and we'd also have that art to use it there. So there was a lot of different ways that we would use it. But now it's like, you know, we sometimes they just land on us and we're like, what is this? Like, what was,
why don't we have a meeting? Why don't we have a meeting and do like repping columns, repping with Rami and Lunsford's lats, and to hell and back with Hell Trevino. Like, you know, like, why don't we just start doing all that stuff from decades ago? Like, you know, I mean, come on.
Don't you just miss some things about the past? You know?
I know, because it's so, like, if the three of us sat in a room and literally had to put a Flex magazine together, besides crying from laughing so much, there would probably be, which would be okay back in the day, for now, like, Hottie's hamstrung, you know, hamstrung. It would be like, there would be so many, you know.
We'd be sitting there making a list of internal rhymes.
Oh my
like
God.
Hottie's hamstring.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I could just see how that would deteriorate.
But yeah,
whatever. So, but you know,
I'm trying to think about some fun things to do though when we're there. Obviously, we're going to do some lots of interviews. I'm going to try to, if I can, chain Frank to chair at the booth so he hangs out with me. I don't want him to go hang out with other people. I get very jealous. I'm very possessive. And
I'll hang out with you. Don't worry.
I know we'll be there. That'll be fun. But I'm trying to come up with like fun things to do. Whether we can pull in other people and people from the.
What I don't know yet. What we should do is have a scavenger hunt. All right, and we got to send people out into the expo, and they got to collect a certain number of items, and report back to us with said items, and we can make all kinds of, you know, interesting things on that list that might be difficult to get, but
like if you swipe John's beanie, you get a free coffee at the.
What? Why don't you do fake juice? Everyone brings their fake juice to John. John will test it.
Look at it, yeah.
On air.
Guess to what's in this
Only 65% pure.
Yeah. That's pure paraboling right there, Zach.
I'm gonna grow my pinky nail between now and Olympia.
Remember the old Italian barbers, Mr. Ed, Mr. Frank, all their nails. They had the coke nail from the 80s. It was like that.
Pinky nail, I know. And it was shaped.
Like,
it was shaped into a point too, right?
Like a scoop. It was a scoop. And then you get all these cuts on your neck, and you're like, wow, I got you with the scissor. I'm like, no, it's pinky. You're fucking banging into it's like a woodpecker. Your neck. Olympia, so yeah, we got a ton of content that's going up, a lot of for the Olympia right now, ads and everything else. I put up something yesterday. Did you get that thing, Zach? The collaboration yesterday I put up.
I did, yeah. I got it a little later, and yeah, I accepted it. Thank you for inviting me to do that. I always forget.
We need some death race stuff. You have any death race stuff?
I do. I actually now that I'm actually out of magazine torture, I'm also going to just start taking what we did and putting it online, whether it's like the facts and all the stuff that we did. I could just transfer it over. I don't think anybody's going to be waiting on bated breath to get the print version of this, because I don't know how many they're even printing, but I figure the content's already out there. You know what I mean? Like, we might as well get it going. But yeah, I do. I will have some death race stuff for sure. It's
well,
I also have to shit. I have to do my fucking death race thing. I have to do the challenge. Shoot.
What is it?
It's the jump rope, the mile jump rope. I have to jump rope a mile, and then during that time, explain 5 ways to build a shelter if you get stuck in the woods. So I have to look that up. So
that's jump rope a mile.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting.
Are you going to like walk in? How do you do that?
I could. I might do that, or I was thinking about like having a specific distance and just going back and forth. That way I can, I don't have to go too far. I have seen some people doing theirs, and they're actually like going like the distance, where I don't want to do that. I want to just, I don't want to go too far. But I also
how do you build a shelter out of rocks, out of wood, out of straw?
I can list a couple of them for you right now if you want.
Let's do it. Yeah, man. Listen, I'll snag those.
Yeah. Do you have any tools with you? Can you like?
I can bring tools.
I mean, do you have what do you have with you?
Yeah,
I have an axe.
Got a sawzall.
Yeah, I have an axe. Like I have a buzzsaw. I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna bring
an extension cord. A 2 mile.
You have a Dremel tool that maybe we could use to carve the.
So I think it's like there are things that you bring. There are things that you do have to bring with you, like mandatory things. Like you do have to bring like a bivvy. Like, so if you need to make a tent or like something like Mylar or whatever, that you can stay warm in case you do get trapped. But I know this is shocking to you. I've never had to build a shelter in the wilderness to remain alive. So, I don't know. I mean,
look, Jack, you got to get sticks or branches, right? And you're basically making an overhang. That's a shelter. It doesn't have to be anything. Watch Castaway, watch Naked and Afraid, watch all these things. It can be. There's one guy made it out of mud.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're out. So you can make it out of trees.
And there's a lot of natural characteristics in the topography that lend themselves to sheltering too, with very minimal additional work. You got to look for that. You got to also know which is your windward and leeward side, because that's critical too. If it's windy or cold. So, but some of the easiest ways is just chopping down. And you look for an evergreen tree, like a spruce or a pine or something. You chop that down, and you chop it at a high. The stump is like maybe 3 or 4 feet high, and as it falls down, you leave the trunk on the stump, and then you go underneath and you cut the branches that are underneath and pile them on top, and you got like a tent. Works really good.
Yeah, I thought about doing also like what Arnold did in Predator and just covering myself in mud and staying so predators would not see me. That seemed to work well for him.
If this was the death race, you could make a shelter out of the bodies of people that you dispersed.
You're right.
In the race.
Yes.
Or you take their clothes, and use them as tent material, because they're not going to need them.
See, we're trying to say, we'll make it right through.
Oh, wait, he wasn't dead. Wait a minute.
Well, he is now.
He is now. He's going to freeze to death.
my friend who's a Marine, he's nuts, but he killed an elk, like gigantic, and then they take a knife and then they cut under it and everything falls out, and then they cook the individual parts. But then once they clean it out, I don't know what the process is, but they get in it almost.
Inside the body cavity, yep.
Yeah, to keep warm.
I have to hire somebody to do all the other things. And then once it was all clean and ready, I would hop in and I'd be like, wait, where's the zipper for this thing?
Where do I get one of those?
I could also, you know what else I could do? You ever seen those people that like put on the costumes and walk around in the animal bin? Like I could do that so the animals actually think I'm part of the
Until you get shot in the ass.
Yeah.
I got the goofy looking one.
Yeah, what is that? Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's it. But I will say this: I do, as you know, I always put these off to the end because I'm a procrastinator. But I also do like it because it gives me. I have been jumping rope more, obviously, to get ready for this thing, and yeah. So it's like, you know, I realized that I haven't jumped rope in a while, so now I'm doing it, and it's not bad.
Speed rope or heavy rope?
I think it's a speed. I'm using a speed rope. Yeah, I'm not using a heavy rope right now. Because I just used what I had. I probably could use a new rope since I've had this one. I don't even know how long we've had this for. It's not even the size. It's probably too small because I'm always tripping on it. But what can you do?
You could take the rope, throw it up on a branch, climb up the tree, and take, like stay up in the tree and sleep so you don't get eaten by bears. Yep. Well, bears can climb trees.
Some bears can, yeah.
Oh, God. That would be
Grizzlies
horrible.
can't. Grizzlies don't climb. Black bears climb.
Well, yeah. Well, why don't you ask him what he is when you see him?
Well, you're going to have to learn your bear, to differentiate the bear species before you go.
Learn the bear essentials.
Yeah. Bear essentials.
Well,
Frankie, you're on fire.
I mean, but I will say, I'm going to. So what I have been doing. I'm going to continue doing these though. Like, when they had to do the fire starting, I actually pulled out the one. I didn't get to use this yet, but I failed doing it this way, like with the, like where you have, oh shit, sorry. Like where you're.
What is that?
It's.
Can't you use a flint stick?
It's a bow drill. Yeah, I did use the flint, but I wanted to figure out. I'm going to try to use this too to see if I could do it. I tried it for a while, and God, it did not work. I was horrible at it.
Yeah, flint is the best.
Yeah, that's what I use. I use flint magnesium.
You shave it a few times and then strike it, and man, that'll light up anything.
That's exactly what I did. And I wore, and I wore like I try to like do these up in like the goofiest way possible. Like when I did the fire one, I was wearing some like ridiculous fire shirt like I got from Amazon for like $5.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good. That's like my friend. He's like, yeah, I got a bulletproof car. I'm like, yeah, how do you know it's bulletproof?
Right. It comes with a lifetime warranty.
Yeah, exactly.
Whose life?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't even know what this is.
Parachutes are sold that way. Parachutes have a lifetime warranty also.
Do they really?
They kind of have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really want to work on this Flex Magazine editorial. I want to get in there with a whole bunch of other things. Make it one giant think tank.
Hardcore hammies.
Yeah. Hotties, hardcore hammies.
Yeah.
Who's that other guy? Oh, Ramon Dino's futuristic forearms, and we'll put him in like a spaceship coming down with his forearms out.
Oh man, it also got to the point where like we were getting pitched, and we still do, getting pitched those types of editorial things, and the people wanted like a ridiculous amount of money. Not even realizing that there was no demand for what they wanted. Like there was zero demand. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna need like at least $1,000 per hour." I'm like, dude, no one is gonna read this thing. Like it's not worth $1,000. Like it's just not.
Why don't they
No.
believe us? I mean, I just don't understand that.
That's a great question.
Well, we have all the analytics. We know. I mean, like, what the heck?
Here's the thing. It's like, it's not personal. Like, as Frank's been in meetings with me before, where I'm happy to show analytics because that's the answer. Like you said, that is
the truth.
Yes, that is the truth. So there is no way you could try to skew them, but at the end of the day, you know, and Frank knows this stuff too. He's on top of social media like a lot, and he
every
knows
day,
this stuff. Yeah,
every single minute of the day.
Dude, he knows what works. He knows what doesn't. And there's times, and he also knows what gets us in trouble. So that's why we try to stay away from it.
Let's see, 40. I would say I put up 40, 80, over 120 to 30 posts a day.
Jesus.
On all of our platforms, and go through about 500 DMs.
How long does that take you?
All day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every 2 hours, I'm on the phone. Every 2 hours, I'm in there, or every hour, depending on what we have. And then there's, you know, there's a ton of stuff.
Man.
A ton. But Zach, I should book my flight, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I want you
to. We got a person. I'm going.
Okay.
Of course,
okay, good.
Did you get your what shirt are you gonna wear? You gonna wear Olympia Muscle and Fitness? What do you got?
I'm still waiting on my shirts from last year.
I have no shirts from this company.
I got my new shirt yesterday, my new color.
Oh, I thought that was it.
That is amazing.
I thought that was a Target shirt.
Nope. It's a fish donut shirt. That's it. It's for fish, but I got another one now. I can wear them both days.
I'm gonna wear a Dunkin' shirt with a big cup of coffee on the back. You know, like,
yeah, I like that. I like where this is headed.
I think I would take that big O and put glow underneath it. O glow, and then give that out to women. You know.
Oh, glow. Oh.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Glow.
But the show's wide open, Zach. It's wide open.
Wide open.
We don't know who's gonna win. We don't know who's gonna win.
No.
We don't know. Samson Dowd is competing 2 weeks out from the Olympia, unheard of.
Wow.
It's incredible. Yep. We don't know what's gonna happen. Some people say Hottie, some people say Derek, some people say Samson, some people say Andrew Jack, some people say Nick Walker's coming in at his best.
Okay, so to compete that close to that show, is that to hopefully change the narrative and to build momentum so people start talking about you and ride it in there? What do you think? I'm curious about that.
You'd have to ask him. I have no idea what his reason is.
Qualified already?
He's already qualified.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Is it money? How much is the first prize?
Or maybe it's a like
$9
tune-up, you know, trial run kind of thing. You know, I don't know.
$450 after taxes.
Yeah.
It's well worth it. I just don't I figured you guys would have more insight on that to me because I don't get that.
I will say that. Go ahead, Frankie.
That's good for him.
I will say this. You know, a lot of people whine and complain about the ode to the 90s and how bodybuilding was so great in the 90s and you don't have these lineups anymore. And that argument is not salient anymore. No. I mean, we have classic physique. If you like that kind of physique, we have a tremendous lineup in classic physique. I think, you know, even just the battle between Wesley and Sebum is exciting, and those physiques are phenomenal. And then, you know, we have the Open, which is probably the thickest, deepest class of bodybuilders we've had in decades. I mean, if you look at the top 5, I mean, they're like, we just listed them off. I mean, those are formidable dudes that are splitting hairs to put them, you know, one in front of the other. So I think you're going to see a great show because I think these top guys, I think you're going to see more guys show up in shape than not, which is going to be a first because usually they're all out of shape. And not all of them, but a lot of them. I think you're going to see a little more of attention paid to that. I hope. My fingers are crossed, but I think we will. And I think that the talent pool is going to be insane in the top, you know, in the top 10. So I think it's going to be a phenomenal show that it is impossible to call.
And Zach will be on the red eye.
Good luck, everybody. Bye. No, I mean, or maybe Samson just is trying his best to like make a case so next year he could be on that list that Generation Iron does about like the most the influential people in fitness or whatever. Maybe he just wants to be seen as that. He really wants to get in there and make a case for himself. Do you think that could be it?
I don't know. Is it qualify for the 25 Olympia, or is it the 20, or does it re-qualify for this? I don't know. But look, if you're a bodybuilder, right, and you know you can get in shape and you have 2 weeks in between, and I don't know what the prize money is, could be, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, and you know you could pick up that money because you could beat everybody going in the show. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you that's the thing. If he must feel confident going in that he's going to take that, and good for him, pocket it. And maybe it's a smart move. I don't know. I wouldn't know because I never dealt with it, but it doesn't seem like it's common. That's why to me it sounded a little.
So there's nobody in this parking lot, right? Look, I don't know if I want to show you here. Look, there's nobody in this parking lot. Okay, all around me, cars. Look.
Wow.
This psychopath.
Wow.
Why are you parking next to me?
They do it in the gym with machines. You ever this gym I used to train at had 4 cable stations. And I trained at like 11 o'clock in the morning. I was training back then, middle of the, late, not on a prime time. Gym is almost empty. I do my ab crunches on this one cable. All right. And I got it set up. I'm doing them. The other 3 are vacant, empty. I get this lady 3 days in a row comes and takes my rope off the one cable and puts her handle on there and starts using. And I'm like, there's 3 other ones. What are you going to use the one I'm using for? Well, I like using this one.
You can't even say it. It's fine. You can park wherever you want.
Yep.
Have a nice time. He's not, but I'm just, in my mind, when you grew up in the 70s, 80s with like all these other things, you're like, why is this guy pulling up? Because in any mob movie, you're getting shot through the door or every, but I think I have a reason for this. People park next to you because they feel like their car won't be stolen if it's by itself.
Safety,
you know what I'm saying? Like they park right next to you in a cluster of cars in hopes that now they have to make a choice.
Well, Jay and Scatman think that it's he called it a dogging car park, meaning don't flash your lights. So I'm guessing he thinks that if you flash your lights, you want to hook up. I'm guessing that's what that is. So
I don't think it's that kind of park. Good thing my lights are that way. I just can't see my lights. No.
That's funny. Man, I wouldn't have thought of that. But 2 people at the same time basically had that thought. I thought that was pretty good. But
he probably just said, "Look at that psychopath putting a phone on me."
Yeah. But we've gone on for an hour plus. I know Frank's got to jump. And look, box. Thanks everybody. Yeah. Oh, you going to box?
Going to the box.
Oh, the company. Box. That's right. Yeah, that's right. He's on official Protein Treat Business. Cool. This is important. And thanks for everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us as normal. Give us a like, share, all that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Thanks again. See you later.